Ladies and gentlemen, we're heading towards the sixth session where we're talking about workflow optimization, enhancing productivity, reducing downtime, and improving service and delivery. I'd like to invite back our presenter who is now taken upon the role of our moderator for this particular session, Mr. Neel Kamal Chauhan, founder of HPTS Consulting. He's a distinguished kitchen consultant and a member of FCSI. Mr. Neel Kamal Chauhan brings over 12 years of hotel operations and 15 years of facility planning expertise. Please, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and welcome our moderator onto the stage. I'd also like to invite our distinguished panelists onto the stage, Chef Gautam Mehrishi, corporate chef of Mahindra Holidays and Resorts, a renowned TV personality. Chef Mehrishi has revolutionized Indian cuisine on screen with his show Food Ka Mood. With over 18 years in the industry, his passion for food was inspired by his grandfather, leading him to work with top culinary brands. Very, very glad to have Chef Gautam with us. Inviting our second panelist, Chef Rajeev Janveja, Senior VP and Corporate Chef at Lemon Tree Hotels, with a career spanning decades. Chef Rajeev started with the Taj Group and has led high-profile culinary promotions worldwide, a recipient of the Golden Hat Award 2021 and a Tata Award for Business Excellence. He is a true industry leader. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chef Janveja onto the stage. Also inviting Mr. Rakesh Sethi, Corporate Executive Chef of Radisson Hotel Group South Asia, an award-winning celebrity chef. Rakesh Sethi is one of India's first TV chefs, known for shows like Mirch Masala and Tea Time with Chef Rakesh Sethi. His accolades also include Best Chef of India 2022 and multiple hospitality awards, making him a true culinary icon, ladies and gentlemen. Very glad to have Mr. Rakesh Sethi with us. And completing the panel, I'd like to invite Mr. Vikram Singh, General Manager of Aloft, Kathmandu, Thamel. Also the man going around so sweetly distributing red roses to all the hotel staff. I was also one of the lucky ones to get my first red rose for Valentine's Day today. Thank you very much to Mr. Vikram Singh, a hospitality veteran with over 2 decades of experience across Asia, Africa, Europe, and the Middle East. He's known for his leadership in design and innovation, driving the continued success of Aloft, Kathmandu, Thamel. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our fantastic panel and for our moderator. Requesting the gentlemen to kindly step forward and give a big bright smile to the camera so that we can have these photographs ready for you by the end of the panel when we present this as the token of appreciation in the beautiful handmade wooden frames from Kathmandu. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further delay, let's talk about workflow optimization now and handing over the floor to our moderator.
Thank you. Welcome, Chef Janveja. Welcome, Chef Rakesh. Welcome, Chef Mehrishi, and the boss of the hotel. So we were discussing last 2 days mostly on the architecture and the front of house areas. But when we operate the hotels, we have all been hotel operations. There is a very typical word we all use, is bhasad. Right. So that bhasad is, Keswani sir is laughing, that bhasad all of us has experienced. So that bhasad is always caused in the back of house. Or that is the only area where a lot of khela happens. So today let's discuss with these experienced chefs and experienced operators, like how do we reduce that bhasad? How we plan our kitchens, our back of house in a way, the bhasad is too less, and we optimize our service, and my guests, they go very happy, and my staff is also very happy. So let's, Chef Rakesh, let's start with you, Chef.
Thank you very much. So this reminds me of bhasad reminds me of the days, when we were young, and everybody sitting in this room will agree that this word is now being less used for a simple reason that kitchens are now becoming more efficient, things have evolved, and the bhasad word reduces because efficiency has increased. So
we have kitchen planners now.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks to the people who are actually behind the planning. And at the stage when the hotel is being built up, this planning becomes very, very crucial. just not only for the operational efficiency, but also for an exceptional guest experience. So it is very important, and that is why today the operational team that's sitting with me, my colleagues, we get into the planning during the stage when the kitchens are being designed. We assist them in facility planning, and more importantly, towards the workflow. And now this helps us reduce the word buzzard, but it still remains.
Thank you, Chef. Chef Juneja, what's your take on the workflow?
Is it working? Yeah. See, workflow basically applies to a principle of triangle. So when you make a kitchen, you should keep in mind that your storage, your stove, and your cleaning, these three things are in place so that your workflow is happening properly and people are able to work with less fatigue and able to produce more. So presently, when we design our kitchens, we definitely keep that in mind, that the storage is in the right place and, of course, very close to the stove or the cooking area, so that fridges are not that you're keeping your fridges very far and then every time you're winging things from there. And of course, you need back your utensils once your cooking has happened. So this principle is kept in mind. So a French term, mise à place, which is like everything is in place, also plays a major role. That's why, you do a mise à place in advance so that your workflow happens in a proper way.
Chef Mehrishi, you have been into flight kitchens also. And this buzzard is, people can't even, you don't have time even to talk about the word buzzard there. Because you have to do everything in 45 minutes. Correct. So what's your take on the flow of, a flight kitchen? And how can we adopt the systems in hotel back-of-house planning?
I think the biggest thing in hotel industry, especially kitchens and dishing out food, is definitely adaptability. I'll take a leap from what Mr. Kachru said yesterday in the opening statement, that modernity should not kill traditionality. So taking a leap from there, I think the modern hands, wherever they are in terms of producing food, dishing out food, they must take a leap from the old and traditional fires that burn in the kitchens. People have, as a chef myself, when I started with Taj, I still take advice from people, the legends like Chef Oberoi, Chef Sethi Arora. And that's what the tradition should keep changing, but not erasure. So elevation of anything in the hotel industry, especially in our areas, is about elevation. It's not about erasure. So I also take a leap from what hotel cuisine was in aristocratic kitchens, monastery kitchens in France, the temple kitchens in India, the Gurudwara kitchens in India. We need to learn, we need to take leaps from them, because they are producing thousands and thousands of rotis, for example, in 2 hours, 3 hours, feeding everybody with so much of love, so much of care. But since you've talked about flight kitchens, so I was very fortunate to be a part of the Taj Flight Kitchen when it opened, and I was the opening member. And at that point of time, where ironically, people used to say when you move from luxury hotels, I was with Taj Mahal, Mumbai, to a flight kitchen, it was supposed to be a punishment posting. But having worked with people like Anton Mossiman at that time, I learned that modernity is something which you learn by seeing new things, new trends that step into the world. And when this flight kitchen was built and when this flight kitchen was designed, it was designed to deliver 2,000 meals in briefly 3 hours. So every 3 hours we were packing 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, and producing them right from one grade to the last grade in terms of courses for different classes. I think it was a fantastic learning experience. So we must take leave from those things. And when I spoke to the legends who actually designed those kitchens, they came up with ideas, that how Escoffier built in the 1800s, how he built a kitchen brigade or a chef brigade, how these things are replicated today in Michelin star restaurants, how these things today are replicated in AAA Rosette hotels, where every section is dedicated, where every chef is dedicated to a specific job. Yes, that elevates, and that comes up to another level with machinery, with AI, with lots and lots of newer equipment which can do things faster. Although there are equipments which do things slower, like the sous vide machine, but they help you in upgrading food, in upgrading services, and upgrading so many other things. So I think, yes, we need to learn from what has happened in the past. Food has always been cooked for the last thousands of years on fire. It will still be cooked on fire for the next 1,000 years, but we need to elevate and not erase.
Yeah, chef.
I mean, so we are talking about the workflow. It comes into two ways. One is while planning the kitchen, how important it is to plan your see the movement of raw material from receiving to processing or commissary to storage and then to production area, and finally the plate goes to the table of the guest. This is the flow where the ingredient moves. But in the kitchen area, the drainage has to be opposite to the flow. So your gradient of the drainage has to go backwards, so that, and of course, the right size of pipe and other things, and 3 filters of jali, so that, most of the food items that go into the drain does not. So the workflow, this will support the efficiency of the kitchen when they are at the peak hours. At the peak hours, all these small things start helping you greatly. I'll just quote a very simple example. If there are people sitting from hospitality here, they will relate to it. On a tandoor, we believe that 90% of the people are right-handed. We assume that. So the spreader should be on the right side of the tandoor. I have seen many kitchens where the spreader is put on the left. So now how will this poor man make peda into a roti this side and then bring it and do? It is better to understand, how it works. So he has to actually, this will make it life easier for him at the peak hour when he has to pump in so many rotis into the tandoor. So that is what is
very valuable input. We also try to give spreader tables almost with each equipment and both sides. So it helps a lot when the chef is actually operating. So Vikram, my next question is to you. Like, they are the chefs mostly in the kitchen, but you are a man who's controlling the kitchen also, who's controlling the receivings. You have responsibilities for your housekeeping, even engineering. What are the challenges you face in coordinating all these aspects if your back of house is not right?
So,
and how important for you is the planning, if everything is set right for you?
So I think we have a very distinguished panel of chefs over here, so I won't go into something where we have masters on the subject. As you rightly said, if you may allow me to step back a little bit onto workflow optimization. I think very simply put, it's how you make things run more efficiently and smoother. That's optimization. I think in the coming years, it will be very clearly linked to sustainability. So it will be how you make things run smoother, efficiently, and sustainable. That is the forward way of it. Human element in our industry, I don't think can ever be taken away. It can only be reduced. So coming back to workflow optimization, now it will spread across, to my mind, people, product, process, technology. And it starts from, actually, as Chef started off with, that great architects, great consultants, great designers, great project implementation teams, great pre-opening teams and great operational teams all have to come together, because where we tend to confuse the issue is that things come much later. That, when we're making for example, a kitchen, that, okay, when we get into the equipment part of things, we try and compact that. So whereas it can start from the area as the designers and the architects develop and so on and so forth. Then we come into optimization, automation. So your question about how things work is that Marriott itself has great systems and processes which are there, and so does every brand. So therein lies the comfort with the brand that, it's not something new in every hotel that has to be done. So automation will be, for example, people at the back end, from, the guest giving an order to the chef executing an order to the service guy bringing the order to the guy. So as you rightly said, and we have a very symbiotic relationship with airlines, because if you look at how hotels have progressed over the last, especially 10 and 20 years, so whether you call about how airlines load their seat, how they sell their seats, efficiencies. I mean, an airline, I wouldn't name it, reduced $4 million, if I'm not wrong, by reducing one olive from a thing, from the business class. My numbers may be left or right, but so small things, and we always learning in hotels from from airlines as how we do our processes and people, because they have only so many seats and they have to make sure that the efficiency is in financial, guest services. So they're not saying that, hey, I'm reducing olives and cheapening the guest experience, if I may use the word. But they're always trying to enhance the customer experience with efficiencies and reduce costs as well. So how we do it is with the guest that you have systems for check-in, check-out, mobile check-ins, etc., on the guest side of things. So it makes life very simple and easy for the guest to define guest histories, etc., etc. From the staff who are all sitting here, we all have, apps on our phone, so we won't leave. You cut across the paper, just apply it on the mobile. The concerned senior will approve it, so on and so forth. In the kitchens, I think you had a wonderful presentation about how kitchens are being designed in a way, done in a way where they're sustainable, they're more efficient, and the user experience is never taken away, it's only enhanced from those side of things. So these are my 2 bits on that question. Sorry, I took a little longer.
So, please.
I'm sorry, I'm again coming in between. He used the word back of the house, and I was talking about things have evolved. It is no more a back of the house now, it is heart of the house. Heart is very important. There are so many organs in the body, but how important is heart? Same with the back area kitchens, or the back areas that we used to call, are the heart of the house, and they are very, very crucial. And everybody who does here and sitting here do a planning have to understand how an efficiently planned back area can improve the workflow and increase the exceptional guest service that we are all aiming at. So that was my point. I wanted to come in and say that those days when there was ample space available to design your kitchens, everything at the ground floor level, and you showed in one of your slides, that sometimes the kitchen receiving area is at the ground floor and the kitchens are on the upper floors.
And that was a flight kitchen, chef.
Exactly.
When I went to my client with my recommendations for the plot, he was very happy with the flow and all. And the plot I got was exactly half, or maybe 1/3. And then we had to split the entire operations in 3 levels. And to answer your question that time, sir, this is the new flight kitchen coming up in Navi Mumbai by Adani's. So that example was for an actual flight kitchen.
We used to joke, Navi Mumbai, you say Mumbai, space constraints are there, not only in Mumbai. In our time, there was a joke, कि Mumbai में तो कुत्ता भी पूंछ ऐसे हिलाता है, क्योंकि ऐसे की जगह ही नहीं है वहाँ पे. So there is no space, we have to plan our kitchens in a manner wherever you can get that space.
True. So, chef, previously we were discussing our areas are not considered as the revenue generating areas, but you can't earn any revenue without our areas. So definitely we are the heart of the house, and our areas are the, heart and soul of the entire hotel operation. Chef Janveja, what are the challenges you face? Because we can't get, we are doing a couple of lemon trees with you, spaces are very compact, and certain areas, even the correlation is not possible. Your receiving is at one end, and then your actual operations are exactly opposite to that. What do you feel? How do we overcome this?
See, that's what I said, that, of course, it is all at the planning stage. Of course, in the kitchen, in the back of the house, there will be certain places which you cannot overcome, and you have to live with it. But keeping in mind the workflow, your approach in F&B is from farm to fork. So most of our hotels, if you see, the receiving happens in the basement only. And from there, after that, we try and adjust the things which can come to the kitchen level. And from there, it is a workflow. So that is very, very important, and we always try to keep that. Of course, receiving can happen. In some hotels, we even have the walk-in storage, which is in the basement area, and we don't, because of the space constraint. It's all, what is you're making and how you want to do. So the planning keeps changing even. Sometimes, you need to tweak the area and bring in more efficient like today's time, there are equipment which are helping you by, avoiding that also. So that's how we plan the kitchens accordingly. It's all how much space you have, and you need to start using vertical spaces for storage. That also is one efficient way of doing that, which previously, because you were given a playground to do, you can make the kitchen very big. But today's time, I think we have to plan it accordingly.
Chef Maharishi, I've been to some of your resorts, and some of your locations are like quite away from,
The remote as possible.
As remote as possible.
Yes.
Your manpower is quite away, your supplies are quite away, and even your resorts are very spread out.
Right.
So what do you think, how do we overcome this challenge in terms of, connectivities and logistics within the back of house operations?
See, in the past year, there has been a lot of thought about this, and especially me heading all this, in the projects, in the new properties coming up, in the old properties getting renovated. A lot of design element has gone into this. And I'm a very big follower of Chef Alain Ducasse. And whenever he speaks, he always keeps talking about orchestra into cooking or into kitchens. So I took a leap from there, and also took a leap from the fact that the back of the house, which Chef Sethi correctly said, is heart of the house. So I got heart of the house outside, into the restaurants. And the restaurants today, which are being designed, are being now partitioned into 3 or 4 partitions. So when you open it up in the breakfast area, you have 4 or 5 different cooking stations. It becomes very versatile. You can do anything from a local cuisine to an international cuisine to a regional cuisine to anything that you want during breakfast. And the moment it turns into lunch, because we don't have too much of participation, because my locations are such, people are going outside, we close 2 sections. So AC is not being used, manpower is not being used, nothing is being used. But these 2 sections produce a TTH menu, which is shorter, regional, smarter. Equipments are very little, but yet the food variety is still pretty much high. And during dinner time, again, we want to open, we can open. Also, these sections are mostly solar or electrically operated. So you don't have too much load on HVAC, you don't have too much load on polluting the environment, because we have a very big initiative called as Planet Positive. And these equipments can be replaced. So a Chinese steamer can be taken away, and you put in a wooden grill, where you can grill salmon on wood, on electric. And so many other versatile equipment that keep coming in, keep changing in. So during the day, during the 3 meals or the 4 meals, to keep people engaged, to keep people continuously engaged with food and offerings, we try and do these kitchens. So biggest example is coming up in Kandaghat, where initial plan for the kitchen was 50% of the restaurant. So I got it down to only 15% of the restaurant, which is heart of the house at the back, and the rest is all in front. And the second example is coming in Theog, and many more to follow. So probably by the end of 2026, I will probably have 15 resorts, which will have only 20 or 25% of areas as kitchens, which are heart of the house at the back, but everything in front. So you don't need manpower. I'm also developing a program which is called Chef Butler in the resorts. So I'm training a lot of young chefs into being chefs and being butlers. So you don't need servers, you don't need people interacting. Everything is interactive. Even the kitchen, shorter kitchens in larger restaurants can be moved from one space to the other. They don't require any exhaust, they don't require too much of gas connections, everything on electric. So you can actually move a kitchen with the butler chef standing there cooking right in front of you. So mise-en-scene has moved to orchestra. I think we adapted technology, we adapted a lot of stuff from what is happening in the modern world, probably because what I saw last year, I did a small stint in NEOM in Saudi Arabia, where things are changing rapidly, where technology is very different. And as I was mentioning in the morning, there are specific times to receive meat. So if a meat is received at 8 a.m. in the morning, the temperature of that zone is adjusted accordingly. If in the same area, adjoining vegetables are received, the area has a different temperature, area has different people, and it straight away goes into processing. Processing for 10,000 people, there are only 5 people. Then it goes into a tram on which combi ovens are moving. So you just put it in the combi oven through your iPad, you put your processing, and on the other side of the line, where probably Hollywood crew is eating, and you have 5,000 people suddenly eating, the dishman, as it is called, or the buffet man only will have to, he has a program, which dish, which combi oven to open and put it out on the buffet. It's so mechanized and it's so well organized. So taking leave from there, how I wish Indian industrial exposure can come up to that level. I know it's expensive, I know there are budgets, but it is so beautiful. It is so amazing to see concepts, and these are being designed by Egyptian and Israeli engineers. So it was really a very lovely learning experience where 15 people all together were feeding 10,000 people during one lunch service.
Thank you. Chef Rakesh, I experience like, when we talk to the chefs, kitchens are like, mehbooba for a chef, right? So how important for chef is the ergonomics of the kitchen equipment design, the placement of the kitchen equipment, and how does it, helps you in optimizing the service standards?
So it is very important, and work is worship, and the place of work for kitchen, and as we were saying, it has now become heart of the house. So are the chefs, even the chefs are no more a back of the house commodity. They are the face, they are the front runners, they are the people who actually are showcasing their talent, and they are no more a back area team player. So when you ask about the workflow earlier also when you are asking, now what our friend Chef Gautam responded was about the zoning of the areas. Now if you see how important it is, as he mentioned, temperature of the zones changes. So cold kitchen is there, then there is a areas of the back of the house which are very hot. Within one section also, like a oven area and a chocolate room area.
The bakery.
And within the kitchen. And
Like
within the kitchen also
bakery
there are
and
various
confectionery.
temperature zones. So we have to understand that for a chef, when you say very emotional people, they are all creative people, so hence they are more emotional than any other manager. So they need to have the equipment right. And most of the time I have seen, you have planned the kitchen, when the operational team comes in, they make some changes, they swap some equipment to one place to another.
Yeah, I mean, that's something very important for us. I mean, I'm glad you highlighted that point, because when we plan the kitchen, all the time, when the chef comes on board, he
Makes
changes
some-
the kitchen equipment placement. Why is it so?
When
Because
this
that
happens,
kitchen is also, what we also design is with a person like you.
so see, there are, as I mentioned, chefs are artists, so everybody has his or her style of working. So, and they try to tweak things as per their style of working so that it is more efficient. And there are times, when you plan a kitchen in a manner, and by the time the hotel is complete, the trends are moved, evolved, and people want to bring in some extra things. As he mentioned, there used to be a time when there was a Gardner trolley coming into the restaurant. Now there is no space, so you have to bring in live kitchens. Live kitchens are now your showcase area. It's like a stage for a chef, and he has to demonstrate certain activity which will create a wow factor for the guest. So you have to plan your live kitchens in that manner now. But most of the changes happens in the back kitchen, which we were just talking. Back kitchen is the area where the equipment has to be as per the flow. Whenever there is a change in the menu or in the where the small pop-up you are doing, there will be a time when there will be some equipment moved here and there for better efficiency and for the right flow of the work. So that is why each chef, the moment he comes in, the cuisine that he wants to bring in, he may make some changes, but not the major changes, of course, some small changes. And the role of the chef sitting here, all of them are doing around multiple kitchens planning nowadays. So when we plan a kitchen now, there won't be much tweaking because we think from the angle of the chef. We have the concept in place. We know what he would be needing. Recently, we designed a Mediterranean kitchen, and we now know what equipment to put there and what would be the flow of that equipment into the restaurant, so that the flow is correct and fast. This will increase efficiency of the food reaching to the guest. So I think that is very important, as we all agree, that back of the house or the heart of the house becomes very, very crucial for us.
Chef Gautam, you have been into many high-tech, innovations. You've been a part of some innovations by kitchen equipment manufacturers also. What is your take in having a very high-tech equipment and giving it to the chefs?
No, I think
Because
it's
let me complete. I've seen some chefs, they don't want very high-tech equipment. They want very basic stuff. They don't want, digital controls. They don't want mechanical tilting and all that. They just want manual, simple operations.
Yeah, I understand, but these chefs also want 20 apprentices in the kitchen, which we cannot afford today because the scale is just not available. But I think the biggest point here is that we train chefs how to use these equipments, and it's a constant training, and it's constant pass on to other people. Simplest example is high-speed oven. You can do multiple things in a high-speed oven. You can just feed whatever recipes you want. You can feed hundreds of recipes in that. Just put your food, push the button, keep your plate ready, plate hot, garnish, and food is picked up within minutes, and there's no effort taken. Plus the food is healthy, there's no oils, things like French fries or potato wedges, and they are cooked to perfection every time. So I think it's training, it's practice. The other thing is also telling people the advantage of technology, because many people today, sadly, the hotel management colleges, they do not teach the advantages of technology. They still cook on gas. Some colleges I've seen still will cook on home burners kind of arrangement. So for chefs who have grown from that part and have not actually seen what's happening around the world, it's a little bit of a shift change or an attitude change. But with training, with explanation, with a lot of motivation, I think that can bring a lot of change. A small example I give to a lot of my chefs is, why does it take for a sushi chef to become a sushi chef in 20 years or 12 years? It is not because it's not because it's a process. It is science, because for him, the teacher tells him or teaches him every time to use the fish in the most optimum way. So that the cut of the fish, there is no wastage, there is zero wastage. It is done live in front of the customer. The size is every time the same. The fish resting on the rice or on the seaweed has that balance, has that look. And every bite can be picked up by a specific size of chopstick and eaten. So I think those finer details, if we explain to our chefs or the coming generation, I think it's going to help them a lot. It does help them a lot. What I can cook in 2 hours, if somebody can help me cook the same food with the same flavor in 45 minutes, I think it's phenomenal. I'll give you a small example of today morning I was having a conversation with Chef Janveja on tandoors. So there is a dictate which has come to ban all charcoal tandoors in Mumbai, July 9th. So I've been doing this, so I've been working with a vendor to develop induction tandoors, magnetic coiled induction tandoors. And we did develop a lot of them, and a lot of my resorts now, so by 26, I will not have charcoal. But the biggest worry was for all the chefs, coming to your question on traditional smell, the traditional flavor, aroma, the charred, flavor in the food. So what I did was, because I have the luxury, a lot of my resorts have a lot of plantations. So we pick up wood, fallen wood, which is sustainable. We dry them up. We burn those wood and give that smoke and ember flavor to the marinations. And then the food is cooked in induction tandoor. The aroma is very different. It's not charred charcoal, but sometimes it is apple wood, sometimes it is some other wood, sometimes it is pine wood, sometimes it's a combination of herbs and woods. Sometimes it's a combination of dried flowers. So the marination, so I did not erase the technology of aroma. I elevated the technology of aroma. And it has taken over, it is helping the environment. My resorts are becoming net zero carbon resorts because we're not using charcoal, and we are helping the environment. So those are things, if you train, if you pass them down very meticulously with belief and with a lot of positivity, I think it helps the coming generations.
I think the rationale had come up before about doing tandoor cooking in the ovens, and whereby they had introduced a charcoal, which was again wood, and you can just put it there, add little oil, and it gives you a smoking flavor to your tandoors.
Yeah, those are the smoker systems in most of the oven manufacturers. They are using it. You have some kind of smoker system in the oven, and that gives you that kind of flavor. But still, I feel chefs are very happy with their conventional tandoors, and
At the end of the day, the flavor you get from the conventional tandoor is much better, of course. But with time, you need to change, we need to adopt, and we need to go on like that. So today's time, there are many vendors who are actually telling you that without a chef, or maybe 1 or 2 chefs can do a whole menu, you can give us your menu, we will put 4 or 5 ovens. I recently had attended, and your breakfast menu is all done in oven.
Chef, sometimes, I'm a planner and I'm the one who
Correct.
recommends the equipment. Sometimes I feel because all these equipment are European equipment and they are like just, trying to sell us these equipment, by doing some modifications. Okay, you can do your biryani, you can do your even tandoori roti in our ovens, but ultimately you know how
Talking about biryani, like it is rightly said that always a biryani cooked on a wood fire is much flavorful than what you do it in oven.
I mean, I'll come in.
I'll just add in, the biggest biryani brand in Hyderabad today uses only combi ovens. And their biryanis
they've just changed.
all made in combi oven for the last 2 years,
Yes.
post-pandemic. And also their halims are made in electric kettles. And they still are the best brand of biryani in Hyderabad.
Chef, I just started designing kitchen for India's one of the best caterers. I won't name. Their food is amazing, and they are doing catering almost all parts of the world. I went to the kitchen, their kitchen. They had no sophisticated equipment. Only equipment they were using were your low height burners. That's it. And the food is amazing.
No, I'll just come back to where he started. Tandoors are now getting into induction tandoor. See, there was a time when we used to say, "Sahaj pake so meetha hoye," and everything was cooked very slow. Now, induction is the fastest way of cooking. Things are changing. We are evolving. Time is changing. Technology is coming into everything, into play, into everything. So as the chef has to immediately try to change his way of working. That is why, we are now inducing those flavors and aromas artificially or through other means into the food so that all the 5 senses are activated when the food comes to the table. So it is a big challenge now, it is learning, plus it is keeping up the pace with the time. And technology, once it is available, people have to accept it, and everything is now getting fast. When an a la carte order, a main course used to take 20 minutes, guest was patiently waiting, he knows it will take 20 minutes. Today, Swiggy gives everything in 10 minutes. How can the guest wait for 20 minutes now sitting in the restaurant? So everything is fast now. And to be fast, of course, induction and microwave and all those things are coming into play, and the technology that whatever a guest experience, it is just not about the guest experience, it is also about the speed now. So that is why things are evolving, and so are the chefs and the people in the hospitality are also evolving and growing.
To add to this, only art behind cooking food is love and passion by the person cooking the food. But there's something which controls the love and passion, that is controlling the heat, no matter what the source is. So if as a chef you know how to control your heat, which is cooking your food, I think your game is already won.
Let's go to Vikram. Vikram, since you are on the kitchen side also, you're on the service side also, you are there in the rooms also. How important for you is the coordination between various departments, and how efficient workflow helps you in that?
So basically, I think compartmentalizing thing and calling them everything is old stuff. You can call it front of house, back of house, soul of house, heart of house. The point is, I look at it as an orchestra. The whole process of hotels in this particular case.
It's a very nice description. Yes.
The point is very simple, that every musician is playing a different instrument, a different sound.
Wow.
Yet all of them have to come together to make music, not sound. So when these thoughts come in that tum idhar ho, tum heart ho, tum soul ho, it's the whole body, and we all work together for living, walking, breathing, etc., etc. So I see it from that perspective. Now, whether, as I started with, that there are some things that we can make efficient, but doesn't mean at the cost of humans. I'll just counter this argument by saying that I heard khana. No, I think today, if my chefs don't put up great food, service, no matter what they do, can't enhance that. I mean, service, with all due respect, is going to enhance the food which comes from the kitchen. So at the end of the day, if you think of it as an orchestra, is where we all make beautiful music together. This further comes from, like I started off, from the consultants, the architects, the designers, to make those processes more efficient. Now we can automate them, so which is very simple, that I'm sitting here, but I know in my mobile almost 80 to 90% of things which we are doing at this particular time and space in the hotel. So when my team sits to get an experience in high-end, for example, the idea is that we all have to come together and do it. There's no egos involved. And coming into workflow optimization, it's just making it simpler, making it smooth, and like I said, sustainable. The counter side of that is if you all go to dhabas, and I'm sure all of us have had in local eateries and all, the fire-based cooking, which has traditionally been there, we can talk in the ecosystem and the ecospace of 5 stars, 4 stars and such, where we have that luxury. But if I go to a dhaba, you know, most of the times it's better food, if not same as any 5-star on the local dhabas and so on and so forth. So optimization, coming back to that topic, I think whether it is from efficient process for the employees as how they interact, as how they do things, the automation helps in making it optimized and the flow gets better. Everything needs to be tangible and trackable, and then only can it work. Like if you remember going back in time, we didn't have operas and property management systems and so on and so forth. So the whole automation process of it has helped us reduce times. But hey, good food is good food at the end of the day, and whether it's 45 or 1, I'll wait for 1 hour. As far as a customer goes, ठीक है 15 minutes और ले लो, but you give me great food. So yes, time is important, automation is important. I'm slightly just going on both sides of it. I regret this thing, but I think the simplest way to treat it is as an orchestra where all of us do different things. All of them are very important. Yes, with time and space and technology, things will change, get better. But at the end of the day, this business is all about people. It was always about people. It will always be about people. So, if I don't see a chef, as chef was rightly mentioning about live counters and all, while it reduces the time, reduces the thing, but hey, I'm interacting with a chef who's making the food. These are artists. It's like a painting being created in this space. So, if you see it from that side of things, I think we have a lot of areas where we can optimize, make better, but the idea is not to replicate processes. And the idea is, as you rightly said, not to have too much manpower, because today we're looking at it from a financial prism. Now, a Michelin star guy may not look at it, a 2-star guy may look at it, so everybody has their own parameters and so on and so forth. And each product needs to have its own way of doing optimization and flow-throughs. And I'm showing, in your case and your case, Chef, you look after so many properties. One kitchen is not a standard fit for all everywhere. So we have to customize those, and this is where we take great help from technology. But I think in my team over here, it's just a talk that we have. We are on WhatsApp, so we use those tools to make it efficient. But at the end of the day, the results speak from themselves. So if you had great food last night and great evening, at the back end of it, or the front of it, it makes no difference, because it's one team, it's one body.
Thank you.
So
Chef,
I guess we can conclude what he was just trying to say is that optimization or automation or technology can support the operations, but cannot replace the human touch in that.
Yeah, can I sum it up?
we are running short.
Yeah, just
time.
put 10 seconds. Is that we talk about live kitchens and so many other things, but बचपन में हमने सबने देखा होगा कि कोई डाइनिंग टेबल नहीं होता था, माँ रसोई में बैठ के वहाँ खाना खिलाती थी. That was the live kitchen. This is what we need to bring out to our live kitchens and stations in the hotels. It's like home food being cooked right in front of you with the same love, the same passion. You don't miss your mother when you come to my live counter. That should be my pride statement.
One very important last question I have from esteemed panelists. There is a growing tendency, because when we start designing the kitchens, the space is very limited. So everybody asks us, let's centralize the kitchens. So we also try to optimize the areas, optimize the kitchen. One kitchen, like I was discussing in the presentation also, how we can connect multiple areas with one kitchen. So when I plan a hotel outside India, it works very well for me. But when I do the same thing in India, there are resistances from various chefs. Why is it so, and what is your take? I would come to all of you. What is your take on this? Are you happy with the centralized kitchen?
See, it is very important. Now we have to understand space are now not a luxury. It is very much important to use and utilize the space available, both in terms of kitchen, production area, as well as for the restaurant. We have spoken a lot about the kitchen space in our 30, 40 minutes, but I'll also take it to the reality of the life today. Most of the all-day dinings only are operational majorly for the breakfast, then lunch are lean, and in the dinner time, there is no other restaurant, you are only having one buffet restaurant. So what to do? I'm grateful to the people who plan, and especially in Radisson, what we are doing, that, and I'm grateful and thankful. The morning breakfast, same restaurant, and during the afternoon and towards the evening, the whole mood, the concept, everything changes. It becomes like a fine dining in the evening. Same restaurant which was giving you breakfast in the morning. It is the best utilization of the space. You cannot have multiple restaurants. And such, in that case, the kitchen becomes common at the back. Kitchen can dispense various type of cuisines. Manpowers are also not much, because if you have multiple restaurants, you will have multiple kitchens, multiple manpower. Or the centralized kitchen or a back kitchen for the same restaurant and different cuisines will be a very good asset and very useful. I think it is a very good and forward-thinking policy, which I think gradually everybody will adopt to it.
You have small spaces in your hotels. What is your
and
take
you
on
have been also instrumental with us in planning our kitchens. And you know that our kitchens mainly are one kitchen, and which operates for even coffee shop, for the bar, for the banquets and in-room dining. So we operate from one kitchen. It is only how do we marry the skill set along with the equipment, along with the menu. So it is very important when you plan a menu that your menu has to be such that from one kitchen you can produce multiple dishes. And that's how we have been managing, and we have been successful. Of course, we give a support kitchen at the back sometimes, wherever, depends on the size of the hotel. So accordingly, we plan our kitchens. And it was again a learning for me, because when I was working with Taj, we used to have multiple kitchens, and we used to have satellite kitchens and all that. So I think with time, we need to adopt that, and it is only how much you want to invest on that. And I feel that it is more helpful in all the terms, in terms of manpower planning, in terms of reducing manpower, in your equipment planning, to everything it helps. And it has been successful so far.
Chef Gautam, quick words from you.
I think here we need to adapt something which is like nucleus and cell. So your nucleus is your central kitchen, and then you have various cells where you can distribute and give different kinds of foods. But the same kitchen is producing, so it lessens your manpower, your energy, and control for one person to produce so many different things from one central nucleus is much easier. So I think the idea of doing a central kitchen is the future of kitchens.
I think very quickly, I think everybody's hungry. Lunch is about to be served, so we've spoken much about food. Just to summarize it, I think it's a coefficient of that. If you're planning a new kitchen, yes, centralized kitchen is the way to go. If you don't have that luxury of space, in old hotels, for example, unless you're doing a massive renovation, I think that they'll still struggle for a certain time. The new evolution, as he said, was the tray. We have now mobile systems coming in by next year. So you will have, as he rightly said, you can't call them satellite kitchens, but they're plug-and-play systems which are coming in. So technology will keep on evolving, will keep on changing, because space constraints will keep on happening. So efficiencies of scale will kick in that the mobile kitchen transportation system, not small food stations I'm talking about. They're all coming through very soon. Some of the hotels down in Europe and US have already started transforming spaces into multifunctional area, which means that if this is a banqueting thing, the kitchen's going to come in, go away. This hall is going to be used as something else very soon. They're not stationary. So with that, I'd say that one shoe doesn't fit all. So one solution may not, depends on the situation. But if it's a new hotel, central kitchen always the way to go.
I think as a designer, my take on centralizing kitchen is more on the profile of the project. If a project is like 100 rooms, 200 rooms, you need, say, around 200 packs in your all-day dining. But if you have like 2,000 banqueting, centralizing the kitchen becomes very difficult because you can't operate a kitchen which is meant for 2,000, producing 2,000, 5,000 meals all the time for 365 days. So it depends upon project to project. If it's a 100 rooms, 200 rooms hotel with a small banqueting, a centralized kitchen works very well. But if the project has got massive banqueting, I think it doesn't work that well.
Well, you said, it is working, this is working in Western world, but it's not working. There is
because the nature of banqueting we do.
बात जहाँ पे है सोच और नज़र की.
Yeah.
तो मैं इसमें I'll just add 4 lines to it. सोच को बदल दो तो सितारा बदल जाता है, नज़र को बदल दो तो नज़ारा बदल जाता है, कश्ती बदलने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, सिर्फ दिशा को बदल दो तो किनारा बदल जाता है.
So thank you, everybody. Thank you, the esteemed panel, for such a wonderful discussion. I think the biggest take from this discussion is the orchestra word, and I'm really happy. The entire back of house, front of house, it works in coordination, and that's how we produce good meals and satisfy the taste buds of our clients. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause to our fabulous panelists and to our moderator as well. May I please invite onto the stage Mr. Rakesh Mathur to present these token of appreciation to our moderator and to all our panelists as well, who made all of us quite hungry, I must say. Our deepest gratitude to our moderator, Mr. Neel Kamal Chauhan, founder of HPTS Consulting, for fabulously moderating this session on workflow optimization, enhancing productivity, reducing downtime, and improving service and delivery. We'd also like to thank Chef Rajeev Janveja, Senior Vice President and Corporate Chef at Lemon Tree Hotels. We'd also like to thank Mr. Rakesh Sethi, Corporate Executive Chef at Radisson Hotel Group South Asia. We'd also like to thank Mr. Vikram Singh, General Manager, Aloft, Kathmandu, Thamel. We'd also like to thank Chef Gautam Mehrishi, Corporate Chef at Mahindra Holidays and Resorts. And also requesting all our panelists and our moderator, along with Mr. Mathur, to join in for a group photograph post this presentation of token of appreciation. Requesting all our distinguished guests for a group photograph. Mr. Mathur. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us through the end of this 6th session as well. Thank you very much.